So again, good evening, and we can start with a short mindful breathing exercise, watching the breath mindfully. And then we can try to generate good intention by thinking, as long as we have strong selfish attitude and self-grasping ignorance, they will give rise to many other afflictive emotions, such as strong anger, attachment, jealousy, pride, so forth, that agitate our mind and disturb our inner peace, joy, joyfulness. And also, when we are in those state of mind, we tend to become more negative, harmful towards others, creating more pain, suffering, hurt to others. Therefore, in order to to develop our own lasting inner peace, joy, happiness, as well as the tools to help benefit others, and to overcome those selfish attitudes and self-grasping ignorance, we need to cultivate to Bodhichitta mind, ultimate and conventional Bodhichitta mind. And to cultivate those Bodhichitta mind, we need to practice meditate, contemplate, practice. And for that, we need to study. We need to be reminded of the practice. And for that very reason, that's why we are here. May us coming together to listen, to engage in discussion, reflection, contemplations. May all this become cause and conditions to actualize and fully develop the true Bodhichitta mind within our mind stream. And to achieve our highest potential, the fully awakened state. So we can fulfill the greatest purpose and well-being of others and oneself. Okay, so we can do that.
Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha, to the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected and fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all three ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith, I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe of fault, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. The perfection of wisdom sutra, the Heart Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya triple jump. Thus did I hear at one time the Bhagavan was dwelling on massive Vulture's mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound perfection of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya Avalokiteshvara. How should any son of the lineage train who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are emptiness, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared. Taya ta om gate gate pada samgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharivati Putra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. Short mandala offering. Sajipu ki ju shin meto Nidegen Sangye Shindu Namah Shema Shubhashu Idam Gurunam Mandalakam Iriyateya. Refuge in Bodhichitta, once in English and twice in Tibetan. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create, listening to the Dharma, I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chodan Soki Chodam Janchu Baru Dani Kasuchi Dagi Chonen Gepe Sonam Hi Drola Penchu Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chodan Soki Chodam Janchu Baru Dani Kasuchi Dagi Chonen Gepe Sonam Jola Penchu Sangye Druparsho.
언제 도전에 손에 더 던져 담배세 담배 전에 되려면 부담되라 차차로. So last week we just kind of finished where Nagarjuna explains about progressing on the Bodhisattva's bhumis, and after eliminating the delusions and and the Bodhisattvas, how they manifest in different form to help and benefit different sentient beings, guiding, leading them. And then we just last verse that way he mentions some of the debate that by some of the schools where they thought he was nihilism because he said nothing exists inherently, and therefore they think that he was nihilism, and to that he answered saying, out of compassions, and bodhicitta, then engaging in all the bodhisattva practice such as generosity and so forth, in order to progress on the path, in order to be benefit and help to the sentient beings through progress, that then achieving enlightenment. So when there is that explanations and that practice, how can it be? How can you say that I'm nihilism? I'm not rejecting all of that. Actually, explain and practice that, and so therefore, while nothing exists inherently, but at the same time, they are able to function and they are able to produce cause and results. So therefore, it can't be nihilism. So that was kind of last. That was verse number 101, and now we're 102, where it says, neither in cyclic existing nor in nirvana, the great being reside. Therefore, the Buddha taught here the non-abiding nirvana. So the bodhisattvas who are in the the pure bhumis, the last three bhumis, 8, 9, 10, and the Buddha, the exalt, they do not reside or abide in cyclic existence or samsara because they have the wisdom realizing emptiness directly. And because that wisdom realizing emptiness directly, they are able to cut the very root of samsara, the ignorance. And so there is no more root of the samsara, ignorance, and there is no more karma created by that ignorance. And therefore, there's no more samsara as a result of the karma and the delusions. And so therefore, they do not abide in samsara due to that wisdom, nor in nirvana, meaning unlike the arhat. The arhat who follow self-liberation path, when they achieve the result, as he mentioned earlier in Sutra, as they can remain in that blissful state of that cessation for long times, and so the bodhisattvas and the Buddha also do not remain in such cessations, and because of their great compassion, bodhicitta mind. Because of their great compassion, bodhicitta mind, then they continue to help and benefit sentient beings. They work for the benefit of sentient beings instead of being blissed out and remaining in that meditative absorptions. That's what it's saying. Neither in cyclic existence nor in nirvana, such nirvana, the great being resides. So those great beings are those bodhisattvas and the Buddhas. Therefore, Buddha taught here the non-abiding nirvana, and such the Buddhahood, the fully awakened state, or the Buddhahood, is known as non-abiding nirvana. Non-abiding nirvana is different from the nirvana normally. Okay? Normally, when we say nirvana, then mostly it refers to the arhats. That when we say non-abiding nirvana, then it refers to the Buddhahood. And non-abiding means not abiding in any of the two streams, the samsara and individual liberations. So that is called non-abiding nirvana. And non-abiding nirvana is the final goal for the bodhisattvas, the great enlightenment. Okay. And next, the single taste of compassion is merit, the taste of emptiness more excellent. Those who drink the elixirs of emptiness to realize self and others' welfare are conquerors' children. So here's, the single taste of compassion. Because compassion is the root of the bodhicitta. Conventional bodhicitta is the root of the bodhicitta, and is the root of all the bodhisattva practice, such as the practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyous effort in virtues, meditative concentration and wisdom. So those all bodhisattvas practice, such as 6 paramita or 10 paramita or perfections, they all come through, they all are rooted in the compassions. From the one taste of compassion, they all are rooted in one thing. All those bodhisattvas practice or conduct, such as 6 perfections, 10 perfections, they all are kind of rooted in one taste of the compassion. And through the practice of cultivating compassion, bodhicitta, and engaging bodhisattva practice as a paramita, then you create a collection of the merit. You create the collection of merit. In order to achieve enlightenment, we need to complete, the collection of merit and collection of wisdom. And that part, the method part that is rooted in the compassions is the collection of the merit. The taste of emptiness is most excellent, and that is the collection of the wisdom. The collection of wisdom, sometimes it's known as the emptiness, known as many objects, many but one taste. Because in emptiness, they all are same. They all are the same taste. Nirvana, samsara, in emptiness, they are same. In samsara, nirvana, in emptiness, they both are empty of inherent existence. It's same. In emptiness, happiness, suffering is in same taste, same. Both of them are empty of inherent existence. There's no difference in being empty of inherent existence. Same positive, negative in emptiness. There's no difference, because in emptiness they both are mere empty of inherent existence. That is their ultimate nature. So therefore they all, in emptiness, all same taste. That emptiness and the wisdom relies on that emptiness is the most excellent. Yeah. Taste, like tasting the food. Yeah, most excellent. So that wisdom and emptiness is the most excellent. And through cultivating that wisdom, then we collect the collection of the wisdom. Through the collection of the merit and wisdom, then one achieve fully awakened state. So in that, it explained the two bodhicitta. The first conventional bodhicitta, the next ultimate bodhicitta, and those two bodhicitta mind, those who drink the elixir of emptiness to realize, it is not just the emptiness, but both bodhicitta, conventional bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta, they both are like the elixir, that transform ordinary into something special. Elixir is something that you can transform ordinary metal into the gold, alchemy or elixirs. Similarly, when you have, as Shantideva explained in the first chapter of the Guides to Bodhisattva Way of Life, when you have that conventional bodhicitta, when someone cultivates the conventional bodhicitta, then even your ordinary activities become virtues. Even the ordinary activities become cause of enlightenment. When you eat out of bodhicitta motivations, the act of eating become practice, spiritual practice. The act of eating become cause to enlightenment. When you go to sleep with that bodhicitta mind, true bodhicitta mind, the act of sleeping become cause of enlightenment. Cleaning the house, walking in the garden, which is normally ordinary activities. But when you do with that Bodhichitta motivation, also that becomes path, cause of enlightenment. So that is where, as Shantideva said, Bodhichitta mind. When you have that Bodhichitta mind, the Bodhichitta mind is like the alchemy or elixir that can transform ordinary activities into something positive, virtuous, cause of enlightenment. Not only the conventional Bodhichitta, also same with the ultimate Bodhichitta. When you eat with the ultimate Bodhichitta, with understanding yourself, the food that you are eating itself, the act of eating themselves, all empty of inherent existence, then there's no more attachment towards that. You enjoy it, but without any kind of grasping, without any kind of clinging, without any kind of attachments. And thereby you are able to transform. Normally, it leads normally when you don't have that wisdom, that bodhichitta, when you find something pleasant, something, joyful, something interesting, something nice, there's kind of clinging, grasping, craving, attachments involved. It leads to that. And therefore, it causes delusions. On the other hand, when we come in contact and when we experience something unpleasant, something, undesirable, something not nice, something bad, then again, it leads to kind of dislike, aversions, and anger, so that. But when you have the wisdom realizing the emptiness, that ultimate bodhicitta, even when you come into something unpleasant, objects, whatever that, you don't have, due to understanding the emptiness of that object itself, the subject yourself, the act of whatever, encountering the act of, the action itself, the act itself, when you see the emptiness of that, then it doesn't lead you to dislike, aversions, and anger, and so forth. And therefore, through that wisdom, you are able to transform all these normal, all these experiences that normally lead to delusion, affective emotions. Instead, you turn them into something virtuous, something into the path, something to free from the samsara. Instead of being cause of samsara, it becomes cause of liberating from the samsara. And the reason, same act, same actions, normally that lead us to create cause to be born in samsara or to be samsara. At the moment, instead of that, it becomes cause to enlightenment, cause to liberations. And what makes that? Even the same actions is due to that wisdom, due to the wisdom realizing emptiness, that ultimate bodhisattva, And who drink the elixirs of emptiness to realize self and others' welfare of congruent children. And through that bodhisattva, true bodhisattva mind, then the bodhisattvas, the children, the congruent children, the bodhisattvas, work for the benefit or well-being of sentient beings, and then and achieve enlightenment, fully enlightenment. So so that is those are the bodhisattvas who practice, who who cultivate and practice to Bodhichitta mind in order to work for the benefit of sentient beings, in order to work for the well-being of sentient beings. Those are the bodhisattvas. And so bow to them with your entire being for such bodhisattvas. For such bodhisattvas who have cultivated incredible, unconditional, undiscriminating, limitless true love, compassion, and bodhicitta mind, were totally dedicated for the well-being of others, totally dedicated for others. To such, then, is saying, they are the object of respect, they are the object of homage. And so, one should try to pay homage, one should try to respect, bow with your entire being, with your body, speech, and mind. They are the worthy object of such respect, honor, and vow. They are always worthy of honor in three worlds. And someone who has totally no selfish at all. Those are the bodhisattvas. For us, sometimes even we have compassion, but still we have some selfish attitude. Even when we do try to help, sometimes even there is some level of selfish attitude involved, in a small way. And even there can be a moment when without any selfish, we might be able to help and benefit, but that is not all the time. There are moments when you have selfish, there are moments, the bodhisattvas are those who have overcome the selfish attitude and who are absolutely only think of helping, benefiting, and who dedicate their whole, not just one life, countless lifetime for the well-being of sentient beings. Therefore, absolutely they are worthy of respect, honor in this world. These guides of the world reside, and such the bodhisattvas, they are the guides, they are the role model, they are the, they are the greatest role model, they are the greatest example, they are the greatest guides in this world. And they are as representative Buddha, and they are the representative Buddhas, Buddha's teachings, Buddha's path, Buddha's practice path. So they are the representative, because they are the representative Buddha. Therefore, just as you respect the Buddha, just as you honor the Buddha, also we should honor them, because they are the one who follow the Buddha's path and be the best example, role model. And especially in our time, where in this degeneration time, when people are becoming more and more selfish, it's hard to find such individuals who are totally selfless, totally selfless. There are very few who are totally selfless, who totally care without any selfish attitude, even small tiniest, even the small slightest selfish attitude, who work and benefit for others, who work, and therefore, so yeah, here Nagarjuna is advising that we should hold them, those bodhisattvas very highly in our heart and respect, show them respect with high regard, hold them in our heart and try to follow them as our guide, as our example, as our role model. And so next, some benefit of the true awakening. So here, awakening mind, Bodhichitta. When we say awakening mind, Bodhichitta, here now, it refers to both conventional and ultimate. It doesn't just mean one, it means both Bodhichitta mind. This awakening mind is stated so in the sutras. Buddha has explained in the sutras to be the highest ideal in the great vehicles. In the Mahayana teachings, Bodhisattva teaching, Bodhisattva practice, that is the highest ideal. That is the heart of the Mahayana teachings and practice. That is the very root of the Mahayana practice and teaching, the Bodhichitta mind. Even though there are so many different practices that you find, many different practices within the Mahayana teachings, within the Bodhisattvas teaching and practice, but among them, the Bodhichitta mind is the very heart, very essence, Shantideva, as he said in his Guide to Bodhisattva Life, he gave an example, when you, when you shake the milk, churn, and then the essence from that you get butter. Butter is the essence from the, and he says, Bodhicitta is the essence of the whole Mahayana teaching, just like the butter from the, so whole Mahayana teaching practice like the milk. And among them, when you chew it, when you shake it, then you get the essence, the butter, and that is the Bodhicitta mind. So similarly, that is the very highest. So with the observe determined effort, generate this awakened mind. So then, again, Nagarjuna advising us, put a lot of effort, determination and effort, for those who have not already generated, try to put effort to generate that. Those who have already generated, try to put effort to maintain and not to degenerate and not to lose it. And those who have been able to generate and maintain, put all the effort to improve and increase, And so through all determinations, effort, try to practice as much as possible to generate, to maintain, and to improve and increase, And so then, whatever practice we do, always connecting and coming to the Bodhichitta. If we are doing some preliminary practices, such as prostrations, purifications, mandala to create merit, guru yoga, whatever you practice you do, always try to connect that practice with the Bodhichitta. Always doing this purification to purify all the negative karma and all the delusions so that I can develop that Bodhichitta mind to overcome all the obstacles. Creating merit, whatever, through making offerings, mandala, whatever different form of creating merit, through generosity, whatever, always connecting. In order to generate the bodhicitta mind, I need to create merit, conducive condition for that. I'm engaging, so always connecting with that bodhicitta mind. Doing some guru yogas to get the blessings from the gurus. And the reason to get blessings is again, so I can get blessing to open my heart, my mind, to cultivate the bodhicitta mind. So, whatever we do with body, speech, and mind, any virtues we try to do throughout the day, every day, even studying. Why am I studying? I'm studying. The purpose means studying is to learn and to meditate and to practice, so I could generate the bodhicitta mind and to improve and increase the bodhicitta mind. So every virtuous actions we engage throughout the days with body, speech, and mind, always connecting with the bodhicitta mind, always coming to the very heart of the practice, always coming to the essence, and not getting kind of distracted from that essence. Not getting distracted from that essence, not getting lost from that direction, but always being able to connect with that bodhicitta mind. And if we are able to do that, then it will be, we will have more chances of cultivating bodhicitta mind quickly and more quickly and more easily, because we try to, every practice we do, we try to connect with that. And of course, we try to also meditate on the bodhicitta mind and try to keep that bodhicitta mind, try to meditate, try to feel the bodhicitta mind, and try to hold that bodhicitta mind throughout the day as much as possible. In the morning, you try to meditate on bodhicitta mind, try to feel the bodhicitta mind, and then throughout the day, try to see if you can hold that bodhicitta mind. And throughout the day, try to revisit and try to re-energize that bodhicitta mind. Throughout the day, we try to re-energize that bodhicitta mind as much as possible. Throughout the day, whatever you are doing. And then next one, 106, to accomplish self and others' welfare, no other means exists in the world apart from awakened mind. To that, the Buddha saw no other means. And similarly, Shantideva also makes similar comments in his Guide to Both Warrior Life. The fully awakened ones, the Buddhas, when they see what is the best, what is the best, what is the best, what is the most important factors or practice or state of mind that will be the best help and benefit to the all sentient beings, to fulfill the welfare of all sentient beings, self and other sentient beings, they saw none other than the Bodhicitta mind. The Bodhicitta mind is the best. That is what the Buddhas, all the Buddhas saw. And therefore, that is what they saw, and that is what they teach. That is what they try to inspire us to do. Yeah. In terms of fulfilling your own highest purpose or welfare, when you achieve enlightenment, fully awakened state, then you are able to cleanse and purify all the obscurations. There's no more obscurations. There's no more obscurations, negativities to be removed. There's nothing to be removed. And you have actualized all the positive qualities. And there's nothing more to achieve. There's nothing more to accomplish. There's nothing more to accomplish. There's nothing more to achieve. Therefore, you have fulfilled. There's nothing more to clear, purify, get rid of, and there's nothing more to accomplish. There's nothing more to achieve. Therefore, you achieve your highest state, highest potential. Fulfill your highest potential. Fulfill your highest well-beings. And then, of course, when you have that Bodhichitta mind, those two Bodhichitta mind, then also, you are able to help benefit sentient beings, to put them on the path to overcome their own karma and all the delusions, which are the root of their problem. And when you are able to do that, then they are able to find, when they are able to do that, then they find lasting happiness, not a temporary, fleeting, unreliable joy and happiness, but real, lasting, true happiness. And thereby, you are able to fulfill others' best, highest well-beings. So that come through the two Bodhichitta mind. So, and in order to achieve fully enlightened state, in many of the sutras, bodhisattvas, sutras, Mahayana teachings, Buddha explained, that the need to accumulate, merits, three eons, merit of 3 eons, while being on the bodhisattva path. So creating merit is, one of the very important factors in achieving fully enlightenment. And so we need to create as much as merit as possible in order to actualize the Bodhichitta mind, both Bodhichitta mind, in order to improve and increase Bodhichitta mind, in order to be more help to benefit others, you need merit. To practice generosity and to be able to have resource to practice generosity, you need merit. To be able to complete your path, whatever, for example, as a lay person, you can take a lay precepts. As an ordained, there is no different vows, precept, is one thing. Taking them is another thing, to be able to hold them without breaking them, to complete that. And to be able to complete that, you need a lot of support and merit. If you don't have enough merit, you experience obstacles and then you give up. You give up your path, whatever precept, whatever vows, whether it's the Prathamasha vows, whether it's the Bodhisattva's vows, whether it's, even though you had some good intention at the very beginning and you took it, but you are unable to continue, then you feel you want to give up, because sudden obstacles arises, and that is because lack of enough merit. And so to practice generosity, you need merit. To practice moral discipline, perfect moral discipline, you need merit. And so to complete and perfect many other practice, you need a lot of merit. You need a lot of merit. So that is why merit is important. So that is why, you often find about merit, and in these texts also you hear so much of merit again and again. And also in Shantideva you find, and if you read Sutra also you find, and so that being the importance. So here next, 107 verse number, the merit that is obtained from mere generation of awakened mind. So if you generate awakened mind, even for a moment, 1 second, 1 minute, second, if it were to assume a form Of course, the merit from that generating bodhicitta mind, there is no physical form. But if they were to have physical form, it will feel more than the space, expanse of the space. So saying the space will be too small for the amount of merit that you have created just by cultivating the bodhicitta mind for a moment. So therefore, as Shantideva explained, Katamba Master says, one of the way to create merit quickly and extensively is to cultivate moments, love, compassion, bodhicitta mind. When you are able to cultivate true love, not just attachment, ordinary attachments, true love, true compassion, not a pity, but true compassions, And when you are able to develop bodhicitta mind, when you are able to develop those bodhicitta mind, just by cultivating that moment, you create such an incredible, vast merit, So because if we create a vast merit, then it creates better condition for the success of our practice, meditations, for the success, perfections, completions of our practice, meditations, lead us closer to enlightenment quickly, and so forth. Mm-hmm. A person who for an instant, so just few seconds, few minutes, meditate on awakening mind, the heap of merit obtained from this, not even the conqueror can measure. It is just giving an example. Even for the Buddhas, it will be difficult to measure because it's kind of immeasurable or so big. So therefore, Katamba Master's advice, one of their advice, if you want to create merit, practice bodhicitta. If you want to purify, practice bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the most powerful practice to purify as well as accumulate merit. And so therefore, that is why also when we try to practice any form of practice, any kind of meditation, we try to start with the bodhicitta motivations. When you were studying Dharma, we try to generate the bodhicitta mind at the very beginning. When we have any meditations, pujas, any activities, spiritual activities, we will always try to start with bodhicitta mind. That is why, so important. And of course, we can always do that. We can try to eat with bodhicitta motivation. You can try to clean the house with the bodhicitta motivation. You can try to go to sleep with the bodhicitta motivations. You can try to watch the TV if you are watching with the bodhicitta motivations, So whatever you do, if you try to do bodhicitta mind, each time you cultivate that bodhicitta mind, with that bodhicitta motivation, with that bodhicitta mind, you accumulate so much merit. You purify so much negative karma, obscurations. Verse number 109. A precious mind that is free of afflictions. The bodhicitta mind. This is the most unique and excellent jewel, that bodhicitta mind. is, most unique, most precious, and most excellent jewel. The conventional Bodhichitta mind that is free from all the selfish attitude, self-centeredness. The ultimate Bodhichitta that is free from, all the afflicting emotions, the ignorance, such awakening mind, such Bodhichitta mind is most precious. There's nothing more precious than that. It's most unique and excellent jewel. There's nothing more unique and excellent jewel for that. Because those Bodhichitta mind fulfill your wishes, other wishes. The Bodhichitta mind can fulfill your temporary wishes, ultimate wishes. That precious Bodhichitta mind can lead us to temporary happiness and ultimate happiness. Not only it leads us to the ultimate happiness of fully enlightened while we are in samsara. While we are in samsara, when you have that Bodhichitta mind, we experience less suffering. We experience less sufferings. We have more and more happiness, less sufferings. Less sufferings because of your Bodhichitta mind, you are able to transform them. You are able to transform them. Through Bodhichitta mind. So, therefore, there is nothing more. Therefore, it can be neither harmed or stolen by the such robber as the maras of afflictions. The maras of afflictions, defilements cannot destroy such Bodhichitta mind. Cannot steal or rob such Bodhichitta mind. Unlike the external wealth and jewel. External wealth and jewel, someone can steal it. Someone can rob it from you. But such inner wealth and jewel of Bodhichitta, it cannot be stolen and robbed by the external thief, robber, anyone else. Neither it can be stolen by the inner thief of the mara of afflictions. So therefore, pay more attention to accumulate this inner wealth and inner jewel than trying to accumulate external wealth and external jewel. That is the essence of this practice. The point is, we can spend whole our life trying to accumulate external wealth and external jewel, which, definitely will not give you true lasting happiness. It might give you some little bit of, kind of comfort, temporary kind of joy. That is all. Maybe it might not even give that. Sometimes when you have wealth, jewel, it creates more problem, more sufferings, more conflict. You have more enemy. You have, people who are trying to steal, rob from you, and so forth. Like that. So definitely it cannot give you lasting happiness. Is even caution mark, even it can give you a temporary happiness or not. And definitely it will not fulfill all others' wishes. But the inner wealth And the inner jewel of the Bodhichitta mind is that for sure it will give you more happiness temporarily, and it will definitely lead you to ultimate happiness. Therefore, Nagarjuna advice is, with that understanding, try to make more effort. Try to make more effort to accumulate, to cultivate that inner wealth, inner jewel of the Bodhichitta mind, for your own happiness, for the happiness of others. For your own well-being, for the well-being of all the sentient beings. Just as aspiration for the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas are unswerving, likewise those immerse themselves in awakening mind must hold firm their thought. So, the Bodhisattvas' aspirations are countless, unimaginable, Incredible, the Bodhisattvas, aspirations are limitless. And in some of the Bodhisattvas' aspirations, may I never achieve enlightenment until each and every sentient being is achieved enlightenment. Such are incredible aspirations. Incredible aspirations. For us, I want to be the first to achieve that enlightenment. I want to be the first. And then once I'm there, maybe I can help you. But such is incredible bodhisattva inspiration. Incredible. Always the others first. Self last. For us, most time, self is the first, others later. Such an incredible bodhisattva aspirations, and so they are incredible aspirations of the bodhisattvas, and so similarly, we also try to cultivate such aspirations like the bodhisattvas, trying to follow their path, trying to follow their examples, as much as we can, even if we cannot practice in action at the moment, at least we try to have the aspirations. Even though we might not be able to give our body at the moment, but at least we have the aspirations. May in the future, may I be able to give even my body if it's needed, without any hesitations. Even we cannot do immediately now, but cultivating that inspirations. All those bodhisattvas, incredible aspirations. And then, trying to hold that bodhicitta mind strongly without giving up, firmly, holding very firmly without giving up when you are faced with challenges, difficulty, and obstacles. As we mentioned in the past, sometimes we feel compassion, kind, loving. We act with such compassion, loving, caring mind. And we practice, we try to. But then when sudden challenges, difficulty comes, when we face sudden difficult people, challenging people, then we might give up, being kind, compassionate, we can lose that, What is the point of being compassion when others are mean, and unkind and cruel. Sometimes it might it might lead to that kind of state. Very beginning, you are inspired to be compassionate. You try to live compassionate and kind, but then you have a lot of challenges, obstacles in your life. Or sometimes we encounter certain individuals where you try to be kind, compassionate, but they act unkind, mean, cruel way. And then you might start to feel, what is the point of, even when you try to be kind, when people are not kind, instead they are being mean and unkind, there's no point of being compassionate myself like that. It might feel, it's better to be selfish, and just take care of yourself. Only be concerned with yourself. Such thought could arise, and that such thought could kind of divert our practice, and we could lose our compassion, the Bodhichitta mind, so forth. So here, Nagarjuna is saying, advising, no matter what kind of obstacles, no matter what kind of challenges, difficulties that one we encounter, never give up that Bodhichitta mind. Never give up that Bodhichitta mind. Never be separated from Bodhichitta mind. And every day we try to. It is important every day, every morning, every day. We try to make that kind of strong determination and inspirations. As I mentioned, morning we start to Bodhichitta mind. Start the day with Bodhichitta mind, and then making a strong, inspiration, strong determination, strong that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult, I will never let go of this Bodhichitta mind. I will never be separate from this Bodhichitta mind. I will never give up that Bodhichitta mind. So doing that every day is helpful, helpful to hold that firm and not be, so it doesn't become weak due to certain conditions, circumstances, so that we don't lose it. And even with wonder, you should start as explained here in the preceding lines. Thereafter, you will yourself realize Samanbhadra great enlightened deeds, So Samanbhadra, Bodhisattva Samanbhadra is known for his incredible, unmatching Bodhisattva deeds, unequaling, unmatching Bodhisattva deeds, very, very, extensive, expensive, expensive, vast Bodhisattva. So in that way, if we try to put a lot of effort, try to work hard, put effort and perseverance in trying to cultivate the Bodhichitta mind, trying to maintain it, trying to improve and increase it, then eventually we will be able to become like Samanbhadras, Bodhisattva Samanbhadra. We will be able to engage in the incredible deeds like the Samanbhadra, Bodhisattva Samanbhadra. We will be able to engage in incredible, unimaginable, extensive past Bodhisattva deed like that Samanbhadra, Bodhisattva Samanbhadra. So, and to be able to reach that point, we have to put a lot of diligence in order to cultivate and improve and increase the Bodhichitta mind as much as we can. And so then at the end is the dedications. Nagarjuna, his own dedication for having composed the text. By praising the awakening mind, held by the excellent concluder, the incomparable merit I've obtained today from this act of writing this text, may through this all sentient beings submerged in the wave of existing ocean travel on the path trodden by the leaders of the Buddhists. So, he dedicated all the virtues, all the merit that he had created with the best intentions to write for the benefit of sentient beings at his time in the futures. May all this merit as all sentient beings to enter the path and the Dharma, the path shown by the Buddha, and then actualize the path within themselves, to actualize the Dharma or the path within themselves, and then achieve fully awakened state. So again, also this also he's making his own dedication, but also it is a teaching for us. Whatever virtues you engage into, not to forget to dedicate the virtues of the merit that you have created. Here he engaged into act something virtuous to compose this text with the best intention for the benefit of others. After having completed that, then whatever virtues, whatever merit he had created by this act, he dedicated for the well-being of all sentient beings. So that is teaching for us, whatever virtues we engage into, not to forget to dedicate. So by dedicating correctly, in one way, we share our virtues, our merit with others. Whatever virtues, merit we have created, we share with others. By sharing it, it doesn't get less, it increases. The more you share with dedication, the more your virtues, your merit that you have created increase. We don't have to be worried if I share and dedicate for others' well-being, maybe there wouldn't be anything left for myself. The more you share, the more you dedicate for more sentient beings, the more it increases, the more it improves. And also it is a way to protect from being destroyed by negative thoughts such as anger, wrong view and so forth. So it is to protect as well as to increase, improve. And it is an expression of the compassion Bodhichitta mind. It's like you did something with the best intention for someone, and then you got some kind of award for that, okay? For your generous, for your kind, compassion, help to support any organization or individual or that. And then whatever award you get, whatever reward you get, even that one you share with others. Even that you share with others. And so it's like that. So with that, we kind of complete this text. And so any questions? Is there anyone in the in person or in Zoom?
I'm wondering, we're talking about a lot of discipline. In my experience, it's just a lot of fun.
Lot of what?
Fun. If you give to another person, it feels really good. If they catch it, they feel really good. And the meditation can also feel really good. It just, I mean, it's hard work, but at the same time, it seems like for me, it's just not work. Once, I don't know. The other thing is there a way, I don't know that I am doing what you're talking about. Is there a way you can ask yourself, is this really bodhicitta mind? Am I doing this? Am I practicing this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's wonderful that you enjoy your meditation. It gives you a joy, happiness. That is what it should be. That is a positive. That is wonderful, and that even it requires some effort, but the happiness that you get from the meditations is worthwhile going through that effort. So that effort doesn't feel effort, as you mentioned. So that is wonderful. And as you mentioned, when you are able to give, when you are able to share, when you are able to do that, not only you feel happiness and joy and meaning, and then not only you feel that, of course, that comes naturally. We don't do to feel that way. It just come to be able to do help, and of course, someone is being helped, someone is receiving the help, benefit, and that makes them happy and joy, and So definitely, those are wonderful, and being aware of that, knowing that, and also to feel that way is wonderful. But again, when we talk to Bodhichitta, to be very specific, then again, as we mentioned, is more than that. Okay, to really have the Bodhichitta realizations. As I mentioned, I think quite a few times, or many times, in order to have the Bodhichitta mind, there are two factors. Sometimes the Bodhichitta mind is known as the mind of two aspirations. In Bodhichitta mind, there is two aspirations. One aspiration is out of compassion to be help and benefit to all sentient beings. The other aspirations, in order to do that, wanting to achieve fully enlightened state, our own highest potential, fully awakened state. That is the Bodhichitta mind. There's two aspirations. One aspiration is out of compassion, wanting to help and benefit others. The other aspiration is, in order to do that, then to achieve the enlightenment, fully awakened state. So, that is what Bodhichitta mind. So, in order to have that two aspirations, so first we need to have the real great compassion, and the great compassion, as I mentioned, is to be able to feel compassion for everyone. Everyone. That is maybe that, yeah. The great compassion is not a moment of feeling compassion for someone. I can feel compassion for someone, but maybe I might not be able to feel compassion for everyone. That is compassion, but not the great compassions. I might feel compassion for someone now, but next week I might not feel compassion for that person. That means it's the only moment of compassion. It's not like when we have a realization of great compassion, then you have that all the time, day and night, you don't have to think it, you don't have to meditate it, it has become part of yourself, spontaneous, day and night, that you feel that compassion all the time to everyone. And so Bodhichitta realizations comes after that great compassions. First we call it, so as we mentioned, in terms of the practice, there are you start with certain practice to generate that great compassions. And once you have that great compassion, then you try to generate the Bodhichitta mind. So in terms of realization, but of course, sometimes we try to have a Bodhichitta motivations or compassion motivations, or sometimes we don't even have to meditate. Sometimes we might feel compassion for someone in certain situations, in certain time. And that is compassion, that is wonderful, but here what Nagarjuna is saying and all the scriptures, if you want to be bodhisattvas, then we have to develop that bodhicitta mind spontaneously, naturally, having that feeling, that mind all the time. And to reach that, of course, we have to start with the effort. To reach effortless and spontaneous and natural, it doesn't reach that point until we started at the very beginning with the effort. We try to contemplate, we try to meditate, we try to think. And when we meditate, maybe we feel for a moment. When we don't meditate, we don't feel that way. When we encounter certain individual in certain situation, we feel it. But then when we see someone in different situation, we might not feel it. Like that. That is at the moment. But we keep on meditating, contemplating, trying to feel all the time as we do, and then there come a time when it becomes effortless, and that you have day and night, and that is when we call Bodhichitta someone has Bodhichitta realizations. That is the term we use, realizations in the Dharma, is mostly that when you have reached that point. And then when you have that, then you become bodhisattvas. So, yeah.
So how can eating a hamburger with bodhicitta mind be cause for enlightenment? Simply because what you're eating was the result of great suffering. So it seemed to be a paradox.
No, because of your motivation, the intention, motivations affect your actions. If my motivation is to harm someone, even I'm giving a cash or food, that act of that is considered harm because your intention is to harm that person. From outside, it might seem like you are supporting someone, helping someone, but your intentions behind that act is negative. So by power of that intention, motivation, it affects the act itself. Same way, the act of eating seems very, very ordinary. But when the intentions is bodhicitta motivations, the motivations is to be help benefit to other sentient beings. In order to be help and benefit to other sentient beings, you have to practice, you have to be healthy. If you are not healthy, you cannot practice. If you don't practice, if you cannot cultivate all this realization, you don't have tools to help benefit. So therefore, you need to be, in order to practice, in order to help, you need to be healthy. In order to be healthy, you need to eat the food, whatever food you are.
But you don't need to eat a hamburger. You don't need to eat any non-vegetable items. So how is that possible then? Isn't it a paradox? Because you also hamburger, chicken, fish, whatever, it's supply and demand. But the act of ordering that or buying that is creating a demand for further suffering, for further killing of those. So isn't that an argument for vegetarianism? Because it's a paradox. Why would you, if you have bodhicitta mind, eat a hamburger or fish or any?
Well, it's easy for us to kind of make that kind of judgment, but it is not as simple as that. I'm a vegetarian, but I cannot proclaim I'm more compassionate than His Holiness Dalai Lama. Absolutely not.
Does he eat meat?
Sometimes, and there are many others, for whatever different reason, for their health and other reasons. Some people, but so the idea that I'm more compassionate because I'm vegetarian, the idea of more compassion because I'm vegan, it's just sometimes it's just a very shallow and very could be very shallow and very because it's more about the mind, it's more about
Well, Kadrala spoke about that actually in that retreat a couple of months ago. I'll have to go back and listen to what she had to say because she does eat meat. And she did give a whole explanation as to why, but I missed it.
Yeah, I don't want to give all the explanations, because it is a kind of, people can misunderstand it, a lot of time. There are many recent explanations from Sutra point of view, from Tantra point of view, and all of that. But just based on that, we cannot kind of judge or think someone is less compassionate because they eat that, and someone is more compassionate because they don't eat that.
Do you know any modern examples of bodhisattvas?
I can't say for sure, but from my point of view, my personal point of view, I have no doubt about His Holiness and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. No doubt.
Absolutely, but other than them?
Other than them, I don't know so closely enough to judge anyone. I cannot judge you, I cannot judge Nancy. I don't know so much enough to say someone is bodhisattva or no, but with them, with being around them and observing every day is not just what they teach, but their everyday actions, behavior. That one I always feel, I always say, I have no doubt. I cannot say they are Buddha or which level of Bodhichitta, Bhumis, path they are. That part I cannot know. I can only believe, but I can say for sure that they have someone who have generated Bodhichitta mind. On that level, I have no doubt on that level.
One more? Quickly, with ultimate bodhicitta mind, how do you know there are no more obscurations, nothing more to achieve? Because you're not the all-knowing Buddha. So how do you know?
Which one?
With ultimate bodhicitta mind, how do you know that all the obscurations are gone and there's nothing more to achieve in that respect?
When you achieve fully enlightenment with that ultimate bodhicitta mind.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We are talking about when you achieve enlightenment. Okay? When you achieve enlightenment, that is the enlightenment that is led by two conventional ultimate bodhicitta mind. These are the two that lead to that. Yeah.
Geshe, we have one more question online if you have time.
There's a question on Zoom. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Amy wants to know, if someone is lying to you, what are some possible ways to practice bodhicitta in that case, in that instant when they're just right in your face and telling you things that you know aren't factual?
Yeah, I think, well, understanding if they are lying, that means they are driven by one of influence or driven by one of the overwhelmed by one of the negative emotions, whatever that might be, sometimes people lie because they are fearful, sometimes people lie in order to cover something because they are embarrassed, because they were ashamed of something they did, and so trying to cover that, they might be lying. Sometimes they might be lying because there's some other conditions, because they want to present themselves something else than what they are for something, and sometimes lying for different gains and so forth, So, but whatever that is, knowing that one, knowing that they do that because in that moment they are being overwhelmed by one of the afflictive emotions. So, as in many of the Buddhist teachings, in practice, it says, try to look as someone who is being possessed by some other energies and they have no control, or someone who has some kind of mental medical issues, so they cannot control themselves, and therefore they act in certain way, certain harmful actions. With that understanding, then you can, while you don't agree and you don't accept their actions, but still you can feel compassion for the persons. And so that is the whole thing, While you don't have to agree, and maybe you might even have to confront sometime, if something being lie and not truthful, sometimes it might even require some time, confronting that. But the main thing is trying to feel, not having a negative feeling, negative thoughts, harmful feeling, harmful thought. Instead, feeling compassion and also understanding with such actions, they are creating also a lot of negative karma. As a consequences, they will also be suffering so much in the future. But again, seeing their future suffering, again, feeling compassion for them, while taking action, whatever action might be most beneficial, whether it's beneficial to confront, whether it's beneficial to not to say anything, whether it's more beneficial to say something, or what to say, how to say, all this, that is part of your wisdom. Skillful means that we have to think what is the best way to do that. But in terms of the feelings, instead of feeling, because of that lying, instead of feeling angry or upset or agitated and having a negative, harsh feelings, trying to feel compassion by knowing, that they are doing that because of, the delusions, because of that, and so forth. So, yeah.
Michael said that's a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
That was just incredibly skillful, Geshe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, dedications.
The dedication prayers. Gewadi.
Buddha,
La.
Sangye, Yogyone, Yowa Chitam Madripa, Esaya Webarasho, Chancho Sencho,
Doncho Sancho Rinpoche, Ma Ke Panam Pe Gyuchi, Ewa Nam Pa Me Pa Yang, Gong Ne Gong Du Pelwa. For His Holiness Gangri Rawe Korwe Jinkam Dir Pendan Dewa Jongwe Ne Chen Rei Ring Wa Ting Yato Yi La Pe Si Te Bardu Yu Chi. For Rinpoche's swift return, peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pradhyaka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings. Through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of Bodhichitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. And from next week, on the Wednesday, we are going to do the Anvasadava practice. I think for many years, weekday evening, we did a basic program. I did a basic program that is more kind of intense. And then, we didn't have time to do practice base, and so we decided. And since last year, we have been doing more kind of practice base, and then sometimes with some shorter texts of Nagarjuna and others that we don't do in basic programs. So I thought that would be another exposure for people who want to study a little bit of those. Next week, I think last year we did about Tara, Medicine Buddha, because those are the practice we do regularly here too. And so, especially the practice we do regularly here, so it will be better if we understand the practice, and then to do with more better understanding can be more helpful, beneficial. Okay, good night. Thank you.